60% alcohol by volume. Welcome to another episode of Erik Wait Whiskey Studies, and in this video, gonna do a review of the Big Smoke Islay Blended Malt Scotch Whisky. This is an absolutely superb whiskey that will absolutely blow your socks off. But before I get into it, let me tell you a little bit about it. It's a blended malt from Islay, which means it is a blend of single malts from more than one distillery on Islay. The bottler is Duncan Taylor in Huntly, Scotland. It's a non-age statement. It's bottled at 60% alcohol by volume and sells for anywhere between $74 and $99. To be honest with you, when I saw this bottle, I was highly skeptical for several reasons. First of all, what the heck is the Big Smoke? It doesn't indicate what distilleries it came from. It's a non-age statement, so what I was expecting was a lot of the youthful notes in it. While the 60% alcohol by volume is really, really impressive, what I was expecting was a really youthful whiskey with a lot of the typical youthful characteristics that I don't like, and they're just using a lot of smoke and a lot of alcohol to impress you or overwhelm you so that you don't pay attention to those other notes. I find it really common for a real high ABV young whiskeys to just sort of be a smack of peat and smoke in your face, try to appeal to the smoke lovers, the peat lovers, and sort of get them to overlook the youthful notes that I don't particularly care for, the sort of young green notes and the saccharine powdered sugar character that is so commonly found in really youthful whiskeys. And then I looked at the container. It says aged in oak cask. I'm like, and it's in red. It does a really, hey, this is aged in oak cask. Ooh. I'm like, well, really? You really got to put that on there? It's aged in oak as opposed to what? Plastic grocery bags? Of course it's aged in oak. All Scotch whiskey is aged in oak. It's sort of, duh, Captain Obvious. So the emphasis on Big Smoke and so forth, I just had real low expectations. I was expecting, basically, this is going to be like drinking gasoline with all that ABV. However, I've got it about halfway down, which typically is what I try to do for my reviews, is I enjoy or not a whiskey past the top of the label, and if I can get down to the halfway point, I'm like, okay, now I think I understand the whiskey, and now I'm ready to review it. And this is a really, really great buy at only $74 to $99. Now let me get into it. It didn't say anything about the natural color or non-chill filtered. However, when I had it on ice, it definitely clouded up, which tells me, okay, it's not chill filtered. Color, I kind of don't care in one sense. I don't want E150 just because it's not necessary. However, color, that sort of light copper golden color. Don't know if it has E150 in it. If they put E150 in it, I gotta say to them, it doesn't need it. This is a really complex, depth, and rich whiskey. Really, really surprised. Really happy when I'm not finding the saccharine notes and I'm not finding the green notes and not finding what was I sort of expecting from it. I was just like, yes. However, I gotta say, at 60% alcohol by volume, there's no way in hell I'm drinking this thing neat. Should I review it neat, or do I review it on ice and water? Let me tell you, this is not how I drink it. This is not how I don't think you're gonna drink it. So let me review it how I drink it. So I put in 3 ice cubes. I have an ice maker. These are about a 1/2 inch across and about, I would say, an 1.5 inches to about 2 inches long. 3 of these. Now, whether you want to use equivalency in just water or use ice, it doesn't really matter, because as big as this whiskey is, it'll take either just room temperature water or ice and do just fine. Now, in here, I then like to wait just a couple minutes. 60 ABV, it's going to take the ice, it's going to take the water as if it's nothing. So now I wait just a couple minutes to let it melt just a little bit. And what I'm typically doing is I don't drink whiskey in here. I just do my videos here. I sit at a nice leather chair, reading a book, this time of year, got the roaring firing going, and I settle in on a chilly night. I got a blanket or a warm jacket on because it's a little bit chilly this time of year. And after a couple of minutes, and as I've settled in and got myself comfortable, ready to read a book and get into this whiskey, and now it is ready. On the nose, vanilla chocolate. It's like I'm smelling a Snickers bar or a candy bar. Chocolate. I can pick up the nuttiness. Yes, even on ice. I can get the nuttiness. I get the vanilla. I get nougat. Yes, there is the peat and smoke there. Caramels all day long. In terms of fruit character, maybe grilled apples, grilled peaches. I get both apple fruit and some stone fruit. Butterscotch. I'll be honest with you, I haven't touched it yet. I'm starting to salivate. It smells so awesome. This whiskey is heavy on the chocolate, heavy on the vanilla, heavy on the candy bar character. On the palate, wow. I can tell, obviously it's cooled down a little bit. Got a little bit of water in there. It is powerful. And yes, it's got a little bit of tingle in there. What do you expect at 60% alcohol by volume? It is rich and it is deep. No youthful notes whatsoever. If I had to estimate just based on the profile, I'd say it comes across at least as a 10 to 12-year-old. It's sweet up front and then dries towards the back. I get rich, dark chocolate, caramel, nougat, candy bar character, vanilla. There is a saltiness there and there is a nuttiness there. It starts off sweet towards the front and get more of the dry, nutty character on the back end. Even on ice, it has a nice mouthfeel. It's got a good viscosity to it, whether you're doing it neat or on ice. I can't imagine anybody drinking this neat. It's basically, it's $74 to $99 depending on where you buy it. But this is really a bottle and a half of whiskey in one bottle. So even if you're paying $99, it's almost like buying this for $75. And if you're buying this for $74, it's like buying it for $50 because of the high ABV, that you're not going to need a ton of this. I typically pour it to about right there, and in a sitting or reading a couple chapters out of a book over an hour and a half to 2 hours, I probably put that in there twice because I can take a sip, read a few pages out of the book, and I'm still tasting it, and still tasting it. So as I'm going through the book and reading page after page, even though I haven't gone back to the glass necessarily, I'm still tasting it because it has a real nice, long, rich finish. Now, maybe some of you freaked out when you saw me put ice on it. You drink it however you want. At 60 ABV, I found trying to drink it neat actually was starting to have a numbing effect on my mouth. Like you'd gone to the dentist, and before they start, screwing with your teeth, they take a needle and they give you a little bit of anesthesia, a local anesthesia. That was the experience I had in drinking it neat. And I don't think it's intended to be neat at 60 ABV. You're intended to play around with it, put amount of water in it or ice as to how much you think is going to suit your needs. So I like the depth, I like the richness, I like the development, I like the flavors of it. I'm very thankful it doesn't have any youthful notes. It's an absolutely delicious whiskey. I like the fact that it starts off sweet and ends, it still has a little sweetness on the finish, maybe a little bit dryness. I like the nuttiness and I love the saltiness on the back end. Try it with chocolate, particularly one of my neighbors gave me some Belgian chocolates for Christmas, and it becomes extremely dangerous because it is dangerously delicious with chocolate. And the chocolate will hide the alcohol tingles there, but it's absolutely delicious. What am I going to give it in terms of a score? Okay, so I don't talk about necessarily, I mentioned as to what I would need to get it higher in my reviews. I don't necessarily break down the components, but I do it in the top of my head. I base a whiskey on aromas, flavors, the development, the mouthfeel, and the length of finish. I don't care about the color so much. I don't care about the labeling and all that so much. It's really the nose and the palate. So aromas and flavors, it's not a simple whiskey. It's not a, two-chord song. There's a lot going on there. I like the mouthfeel of it. I like the depth of it. That has a sort of mouth-filling feel to it. I like the variety of flavors that I'm getting from start, in the middle, and to the finish. I like the fact that it starts off sweet and goes a little bit dry towards the back end. By dry, I mean non-sweet, not necessarily bitterness. Although if you get wood tannins in a whiskey, referring to it as dry can be referring to those tannins. But what I'm referring to is it not being just sweet upon sweet upon sweet. I like the nuttiness and I like the saltiness. It's like having a salted caramel. It's like having a candy bar with nuts in it. It has that sort of experience to it. So what I'm going to give it in terms of score, it has the length, depth of flavor, the range of flavor. It has a development that I'm looking forward to get it to bare minimally 90 points. What I'm going to give in terms of score, I'm going to go 93 points. 93 points. What would I want to go a little higher? I wish they would put an age statement on it. I wish, this, and this is not in terms of the quality of the whiskey. This has to do with the producers. I wish they would just state straight up, non-chill filtered, no added coloring. Fairly certain it doesn't. Why not put it on the freaking label? But I don't discount it for that. In terms of the price-quality ratio, it has that. I think a lot of whiskeys, to pay this much for it, to get this quality of a whiskey, and particularly at this strength and power, you're probably going to go $120 and up for this style of whiskey. So there are some other bottlings from this that are a lot lower in ABV, but if you can get this 60% alcohol by volume, and you can, particularly if you can get it for around $74, you can get it for under $100. I would highly, highly, highly recommend it. This is potentially in my top 10 for 2022. We're still early in the year. We've got a long ways to go, but it's already hitting that mark and what I'm looking for in a top 10 for 2022. All right, that's it for this video. If you have not yet subscribed, but you like watching my videos, I would greatly appreciate it if you would subscribe, ring the bell to be notified when I go live or post a new video. And if you're one of my Patreon supporters, I want to thank you very much. And until next time, cheers. Hey, don't forget to subscribe and check out these other whiskey videos.